Okay. Lynette, what is your opinion on doing past life regression? This is an interesting question. I've been asked this many times. I'm Buddhist. I've been a Buddhist since I was a kid, since I was a teenager. And so in theory, I should believe in past lives. I'm not certain about past lives, but okay. I can only talk from my own personal, you asked my personal opinion, my personal viewpoint about past life therapy and regression. I feel there is a use for it, and it can be beneficial. It depends on how you understand it yourself. I personally understand it as a metaphor. So you put somebody into hypnosis and they regress, and let's say you're deliberately requesting a past life experience and something comes up. Well, let's say they have this life, they talk about this life, and something is resolved in that life, that past life, and that it leads to a resolution of a symptom in their current life, for example, which is the kind of traditional way you'd use past life therapy, is to find a cause of something or symptom now that happened in a past life. You resolve that, or just knowing about it, sometimes it's meant to resolve it. So if you think of it like that, I see that the past life is like an unconscious metaphor that your unconscious mind has created as a methodology to deal with the current situation or problem. Now, think of it like that. I think it's a great technique, a great approach. Thinking of it as being an actual past life, I don't know. Does anybody really know if it's genuinely an actual past life? I know there are cases, there are books of case studies. I think the one that I remember particularly, I can't remember the doctor's name, but he worked with children in India. So in a culture where past life was accepted to be a natural phenomena. And lots of the children, had these accounts of being born before and who they were, etc., and were able to recall these lifetimes, which were then verified in some way. Well, okay, fine. I wasn't there to see it, so I'm willing to accept that that's a real possibility. But I don't know. This is the thing. Do I know? I don't know. Have I ever done past life regression? Have I gone out consciously to achieve it? Only once, but it has happened spontaneously. So let me just briefly tell you that, because this sometimes can happen to you. I was working with one client and we were doing automatic writing. And as I often do, if I'm doing automatic writing and I've got a good hypnotic subject, I will ask the unconscious to be able to do automatic writing post-hypnotically. So when the client comes out of hypnosis, they'll hold a pen and they'll be out of trance. I'll be asking the hand questions and the hand will start writing. And this woman we were doing some regression work. We'd gone back in time. And I thought we'd gone back to something in her childhood. And her hand started writing and answering these questions. And there was something that seemed off. And I couldn't quite figure what it was. So I asked her how old she was. And she wrote down an age older than she actually was. I thought, oh, this is interesting. And so I asked her to write a date, and she wrote a date. It was 18th century, 17 something or other. And I'm going, okay. So I think, okay, maybe this is a past life, a spontaneous past life. So I said, what are you wearing? And she drew a picture. Fairly accurate picture of a dress that you would expect someone to be wearing in the 18th century, like a peasant kind of dress, And we had this whole conversation going. I can't remember what else we were talking about, but asked lots and lots of questions. And there it was, a past life, and it was spontaneous. And that's happened 2 or 3 times. I can't remember happening any more than that. So sometimes it's happened spontaneously. Now, has that happened because the client's previously been aware of past life phenomena, and it's just happened because there's an awareness and a willingness to accept it? Has it happened because it's genuine? I really don't know. I couldn't go and verify what she told me personally. Some of the stories are quite detailed, but I don't have the means to go and verify them. personally. Now, there probably are accounts where things have been verified. So my opinion, you've asked my opinion here, Lynette. And so really it's just about, this is my opinion rather than whether it's right or wrong, works or doesn't work. Okay. And the one time I did actually go for a past life was I was asked to do it by somebody, a woman, and she owned a gas station, a filling station on a road from Cambridge to Ely in England. And it was an isolated road, the A10 going out. She owned a filling station there with her son. And she contacted me to say she'd previously been hypnotized by a guy called Joe Keenan, who specialized in past lives. And she wasn't able to contact him anymore. And she wanted to finish something that he'd started or something. I can't remember. And so I turned up to do this session, kind of reluctantly, really, but I turned up to do this session. And she said that her son had gone out and he hadn't realized that I was coming over. So it was just me and her. And she didn't want to leave the gas station, the filling station, unmanned. So could we do it at the checkout, at the gas desk of the petrol station? So I'm thinking, okay, well, there's no traffic around. It's a really a quiet road at this time of day. So I hypnotized her, and I can't remember who she went back to. She went back to somebody or other, and she's sitting there in a trance with her eyes closed, being somebody from 200 years ago, whatever. And somebody came in to pay for their petrol, and I had to take the money and do the change. Oh, they're hilarious. Anyway, so that's the only time I've deliberately gone out to do it, apart from when I've taught it. I have taught it on some of my courses, simply because it's something we can use therapeutically, as I said, and I'd like to think of it as a kind of a metaphor. So let's move on from that. Okay.